right. So we'll get started. Good morning. Welcome to our Mind the Moments Thursday morning gathering, brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. This is a place where we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to speak with us about what mindfulness means to them and to discuss as a community how we can incorporate these practices into our daily lives. I'm Suzanne Rowe Palacino. It's Thursday. And it's Tara time. So we are back here with Tara Healey after a little hiatus there.
Yeah.
So happy to have you back, Tara. And
Thanks, Suzanne. Happy to be back. Yeah.
Yeah, so great to see you.
You too.
Thank you. And good morning to everyone here. So nice to see everyone this morning and to be together.
Yeah.
So today, as usual, Tara will start us off with a question and share a few thoughts with us and then lead us in at least a 12-minute guided practice. And guidance as well as silent time will be part of the practice this morning. So for anyone new, we'll guide you all throughout and help you understand this lovely practice we call meditation. So after that, we'll have some time for questions. So if you go to the bottom of your Zoom screen, open up the chat and go to the bottom of the chat box. And there is a blue drop-down menu that says hosts and panelists. And you can click on that to change it to everyone. And you can share your comments with everyone as we go along. So, Tara, what do you have for us this morning?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if any of you happen to see this on the news, but there were 3 whales that breached at the exact same time off Provincetown. I mean, if anybody saw that, please feel free to put that in the chat. But I found it just incredibly awe-inspiring. And you know, this summer, I wound up buying a kayak. I went to Facebook Marketplace, actually, and got a kayak. So I also got my bike all kind of tuned up. And I have been really enjoying being out in nature and paying really close attention to things that I might not pay all that much attention to. And really, I mean, I love the natural world, but I've even been honing in more. So last night when I saw in the news those whales breach, it almost gave me a chill, like that, you know, there had to be, of course, a kind of communication going on between them, that they all decided to jump at the exact same time. And thinking also, I recently came across an article about bird calls and what the different bird songs or bird calls, what they mean in terms of letting others know there's danger, or what a mating call might sound like. Just again, you know, and this was before the whale thing, so this was last week, where I was just again like kind of awe-inspired by all that's been going on, all that does go on in the natural world and the way that animals communicate, and also thinking a lot about climate change and the impact that climate is having. And yet, you know, still so much is going on. The other thing that I find incredibly awe-inspiring was I planted some sunflowers, you know, the really big, tall sunflowers. And I remember they were like a 1/4 inch size, thinking, how is this possibly going to turn into like a Jack and the Beanstalk? And yet there they are coming up. So you know, in this time that we're in where we're able to be outside and it's summer, the question is, what has awe-inspired you lately? You know, what have you been maybe paying attention to that has you know, just impressed you in some way? And I think for me, like, I also find a kind of comfort in the way, the rhythm and the naturalness of how the natural world works. So what has awe-inspired you? Sunflowers are the best they are. I mean, and I didn't grow up in like a home that planted or had gardens or vegetables. And I also have a pot of peppers, and I'm so excited looking at them day after day and seeing that, you know, from seed that they are growing and that I will actually ingest them. I mean, it's, yeah. So Suzanne, I mean, I was inspired by a lot, so there's a lot in there, but the 3 whales is kind of what just has topped off the past couple of weeks for me. How about you?
Yeah, I was at a friend's house yesterday, and he had been away for a number of weeks, came back, and on his main light above his house, a bird had built a nest. And so it was like one of those hanging pendant lights. And this bird, robin, had built a nest. And we were standing just watching. And the robin came and to feed the babies, and the babies' little mouths were coming up to take the food. And I was just like so in love with these birds, and just how these lovely animals just made their space wherever it was best for them. And it was just the perfect showcase for dinner time. So adorable.
I love that, Suzanne. And just like how that mother bird is finding the safest, most sheltered place to have her babies, and to see the act of food, you know, being given. I mean, yeah, like it is, you know, Suzanne and I were talking earlier, and when, you know, when we go on retreat and the mind settles and there's quietness, there is a sense of awe that is different than the daily, you know, the awe of my daily life. But I have to say lately, it has been like inspiring me in a very, very similar way. Yeah. So let's see.
So Teresa's mentioned about mushrooms and how she's been seeing all different types. And to figure out their names. And
well, Teresa, you know, it's funny because I made a little note of that. There's a really good movie called Fantastic Fungi. Paul Stamets is a mycologist. I've seen it twice. I think it's on Netflix or Prime, but if you have not seen Fantastic Fungi, that again, like it's a remarkable documentary. So I highly recommend seeing it.
Well, there's a giant mystery squash, which sounds absolutely intriguing.
And grew, like, that's the thing, is growing from seed, right? Like that your own hands put this thing in the soil and you relied on sun and rain and, you know, just all the right ingredients have to come together. And even the fact that it grows is mind-blowing.
The bunny nest, and how the mom bunny packed the nest together. Seeing the babies emerge. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is so much.
And wildlife in the city, you know, how much, you know, even sometimes in the city, noticing like in cracks in the sidewalk, little blooms, like nature wants to do its thing, right?
Yeah. And fireflies.
Yes.
And how amazing looking they are at nighttime. Yeah.
And the excitement of a child, right? Because like we all remember in our childhood, and to still feel the same way about seeing that is, it's remarkable. So I just have been feeling incredibly awe-inspired. I think in part the kayak has been a really fun thing, and, you know, paddling close to shore in really quiet areas and listening to the bird calls and seeing the different wildlife and seeing the fish, like, amazing. So with that, how about if we move into our practice? So as always, you want to just take a posture that feels like it's going to be best for you this morning. So that could be standing or sitting or lying down. And take a moment to just settle into that posture, whatever feels best for you this morning. And make sure that the spine is straight, but also easeful, so that you're holding yourself in a way that is upright and engaged. Of course, a little different if you're lying down, which is also fine. And just kind of let go of what has already happened so far today, release anticipation of what's next, but bring the mind and the body together in this moment, and just see, what sensations are making themselves known in your body. From your activity, assuming at this point, many of us have probably been pretty active, and just noticing pulsing or vibration or temperature. So what is the body offering? And simply receiving it, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, just making a note of what's happening. And before we kind of get into the more formal aspect of the training, I always think it's good to take a couple deep breaths just to help settle any surface tension. Taking a deep inhalation through the nose and make the exhalation double the length of the inhalation. So go ahead on your own. And as always, the eyes can be opened or closed, whatever feels best. And just seeing how things are. How is the body? What's making itself known? Pulsing, vibration, temperature. And let's expand awareness outward to include sound in the room or outside of the room. Having kind of a wide angle lens of awareness from including the body, but also widening out to sound that may be occurring. Just making a soft mental note, hearing. And the invitation today will be to continue with the open awareness of hearing and taking in the arising and passing of sound moment by moment. And alternatively, you can also narrow that focus of attention on the sensations you feel when you breathe, anywhere in the body where you feel that strongest. Tracking the in-breath, tracking the out-breath at the level of sensation. Alternatively, again, if breath is difficult, you could take the palms of your hands and rest them on the top of your thighs. And just that point of contact could be what you come back to each time the mind wanders, which of course it will a whole bunch. That's what the mind does. And we just see it, make a soft mental note thinking, allow the body to soften, because there's always a subtle contraction, and escort the attention back. And so I'm going to be silent for the next several moments, and you can do the wide lens of awareness, or you could do a more narrow focus. And noticing where the mind is, just gently releasing the narrative or the memory or the planning, soften the body, and return to your anchor. And again, noticing where the mind is, gently releasing the narrative, soften the body, and return to your anchor, whatever you're using. And as we bring this meditation to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. May our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. May the merit of this practice be for the benefit of all beings. And whenever you feel ready, taking a moment to just reorient to the room that you're in. Maybe do a little bit of a stretch. And yeah, so feel free to share any resources that you've come across lately that you have found helpful or useful, or ask a question or make a comment about how that practice felt for you, or anything else that is awe-inspiring.
You know, I wanted to go back to something you said, Tara, about the retreat and how retreat or not, just sitting in meditation and allowing ourselves to just be with whatever is coming up for us and giving ourselves that quiet time just enables us to even access this sense of awe.
Right.
You know, whether we're on a retreat where we're quiet for a significant extended period or not, I just feel like this practice shows us how much, maybe before we were meditating, how much we might have missed, you know?
Yeah, no, it's a really good point. And I think, historically through time, the value of silence, whether it's connected to a spiritual practice or not, just the value of science has been documented, over and over and over again. And, and I think that sometimes just the silence is not that easy to be with and can actually feel anxiety producing. And that's also good to see and to be with, that it's a way to work with that particular emotion out of the narrative and the thoughts about it, but feel it in the body. So, the benefits are so far reaching, right? It's, and I think staying in distraction keeps us from ourselves, and just having, and it doesn't have to be long drawn out moments. They can be 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone's mentioned silence is hard, but it does get easier.
Yes. I mean, right. And you would think, I think there could be a natural association that silence means peace. But I think, as you're pointing out, it's not always that. It is sometimes, but it isn't always peace. But that, the full range of emotions will make themselves known to you in silence, and you will get to know them better so that you can relate to them in a way that is skillful and useful and helpful. Yeah, it gets easier. Like, you start to see, like different habit patterns of mind. Like, it would be like, for me, things that come up, it's like, oh, there you are again. I know you. It might not necessarily be an emotion I'm happy about, but there you are, and I can allow you too. So I think, the word in meditation and mindfulness that I've always loved is allow. It's just easier to be with the good emotions. You allow them and you can fully appreciate them because they'll change too. But also the emotions that are harder to deal with, that allow. Yeah.
Yeah, everything belongs.
Yes.
Well, thank you as always, Tara, for being with us this morning and for guiding us throughout this lovely practice. So we're grateful.
Well, likewise to you too for your lovely hosting. Thank you.
My pleasure. And we're back here on Tuesday with Christine O'Shaughnessy.
Great.
So, yeah, so nice to be with you this morning. We wish you a good end to your week and a good weekend.
Yeah.
Be well. See you next week.